And good morning, and I'm having my cuppa. How are you doing? Yes, we're live. The counter is clicking. Where's this thing? Okay. Yep, the chat works. There's one there. Anyway, this morning's, little morning, what would we call it? Morning chat. Okay, morning chat, that's good. It's a prelude to this evening's chat. I'm just setting up what we're going to talk about. And, I want to say, first and foremost, I'm glad to see you. And I am your Sensei El Bob. I'm here to tell you stories. Don't believe a word I say, right? These things are just here to make it go, I'll have to look into that. Because the only way you're going to understand anything is by overstanding it, looking at it. Meaning, you want to see over the mountain, you can't stand the valley. Still eating leftovers from Thanksgiving. Good. So, so, like, thumbs up, tell other people, get more people to subscribe, because we are in the window of opportunity, right? The next 13 months, we can change the world for the better. Because for the last 22,000 years, the hidden hand has been pushing forward an agenda, the Agenda 21, right? Go Google Agenda 21, right? It was put forward in the 70s by the Trilateral Commission. It was put into the United Nations, which is just, a gaslighting cutout talking head for the hidden agenda, the hidden hand. And what they want to do is depopulate. They want to move everyone, from being spread out to being in urban prisons, basically. And, look at China. China has built a number of cities for millions of people that aren't even there yet, And it's all about control, If you read 1984 and Huxley's Brave New World, most of these guys, Orwell more than Huxley, were describing something that the hidden hand had planned thousands of years ago. And they were putting it into the context of the conscious collective mind of all our relations. And they want to do everything they can to destroy the only truth and reality, which is love, They want to supplant it with hate and fear and self-loathing and anxiety. Oh, how am I going to pay my bills? At all, right? And it's not about that. It's about you being the singular soul that you are, the free soul, and ascend into the collective of all our relations in service to love's co-creation, right? Now, the Luciferian motif, which is just one gigantic, big freaking illusion, if, if this, I go through these periods of, well, love's, all there is love. So if I don't, you know, fight it, meaning fight the hidden hand, it will just, be taken over by love's co-creation. And there are plenty of people who are carrying on the fight much better than I, in their own way. David Icke is a good person, and you should go watch his, Google David Icke, Agenda 21, right? And he's got a number of books out there that are really good, right? And he's got a buddy who he used to work with at the BBC, and this guy has a talk radio show in London, and David goes on and talks. So if you were to go to EAMON Holmes, HOLMES, David Icke Ian Holmes radio show. He's got about 10, 20 radio shows up there. That really explained lots of specific things, which is really good, right? And then there is, people like Joseph P. Farrell, right? Jordan Maxwell, Catherine Austin Fisk, Linda Moulton Howe, Dr. Stephen Greer, David Wilcox, right, and Corey Good. And if you watch all these guys, if you go on Gaia TV, you get, you gotta look at a lot of different people, not the same thing, right? And realize what's going on. The more people you can watch, the more people of a varied, all those guys I just said are kind of in the break, trying to describe the breakaway civilization, right? The hidden hand, the powers that shouldn't be, and the pyramid structure of the sock puppet reality that we live in, right? And the folks who are at the top, they're not even the 1/10 of 1%. They're like 6 people, right? And they are, not quite human, right? They are dimensional, they are reptilian, they are all kinds of things, right? And if you go read David Icke's books, and he's got a lot of them, he's been doing this for almost 30 years, and you have to hand it to David Icke, because I was just leaving, Al's leaving the building, and David Icke was going in the door the other way. And when I ran consciousness conventions, a whole life expo, things like that, in New York, out of the Green Door, which is I don't know if it is, it was on Spring Street, and it was run by the Theosophical Society on the down low. It wasn't one of their places that they were really, what they did, they, bought a building, they funded a process where people could come and question everything. And they weren't pushing their own brand of whatever reality is. They weren't, but they had a bookstore there, an antediluvian bookstore that was quite great. And it was kind of hooked up to Weiser's, which was an amazing, I don't know if they're still around. And there were a bunch of other publishing houses that kind of, did it off a web offset, right? And kicked out books that were ancient and then redistributed them, right? And they would be web offset, right? Roughly printed and cut, and they were spiral bound because it was too expensive to bind them, any other way. And they had tons of books, and I'll look up some of those publishers for you so you can go see if they still exist. But the information's out there, but you have to kind of look at it yourself, Hey guys, yeah, good morning. Drinking my morning coffee, and this is the morning ramble, setting up for the evening's live chat with the cadre. And hey there, Fish. Good to see you. And research research. I'm going to double down on trying to figure out how to do Skype. Okay, I promise you that'll be our Christmas present to each other. Me figuring out Skype. Right? I figured out the PayPal, and some. When you guys throw like a couple of dollars in it, just so I see that it's still working. The last time anyone gave me anything was mid-November, and so. I just want to see if it still works. So anyway, there's a really interesting guy. His name is Mark Blythe, Blyth. He teaches at Brown. He's Fish, and he has he has a lot of YouTubes up there, and Austria, the history of delusion is one of his best, where he just lays it out in an hour and 15 minutes, everything, how it's the banking thing, everything, the whole connection of everything. Like David Icke, he's been doing it for 30 years and he's got like 25 books. This guy pretty much lays it out in an hour and 15 minutes in this one talk. And he really talks fast. He's like he's on meth. And because he wanted to get it all in one short thing. And Mark Blythe, right? So go check him out. Research, you would like it. Fish, you would like it. All those people, David Icke, Joseph P. Farrell, Jordan Maxwell, Robert, what's his name, who, coined the phrase breakaway civilization, Linda Moulton Howe, David Wilcox, Dr. Steve Greer, all those guys, everyone has their opinion, which is kind of a prejudice, meaning they look at something a certain way, right? I try to look at it at every way, and that's why I do these stream of consciousness, I got my wrong glasses on. These are my walking around glasses. They're not my really see what's in the small print glasses. Anyway, so it was a really nice chat last night. Everyone, the energy was very loving, and everyone was, I could feel everyone was getting strength and renewal from that chat. And that's why I do these chats, to, assist in the collective consciousness of all our relations, right? To get everyone to feel that. I did a very quick going into the guided meditation. I didn't take forever, just kind of, because I'm expecting you guys and gals to be, meditating every day, breathing that 20% in and 30% out and getting yourself into state and navigating and exploring the universe. I'm giving you a tool that lets you see the whole, everything behind the tapestry of the illusion, the delusion, right? And that's kind of what we have. We have a delusionary history, which tries to, through wars and Holocaust and, making you, scared about everything. There's nothing to be scared of, Figure out what you want to do. You got 13 months. You got this window of amazing opportunity, between now and March or April 1st, the latest. You should figure out what you want to do. And it's not the same old same. Not to live in your mom's basement, not to keep the same crappy job, to in your neighborhood. Find a group that you can start your own cadre and that you work together. Book club, go find your neighborhood community TV thing where you can go like we did, go look at Potato Wolf, go Google Potato Wolf, and a collaborative artist projects, New York, 1960s, 70s, and 80s, right? And it was a small handful of people, 8 that started collaborative artist projects and Potato Wolf, and those two things were instrumental in starting Soho and that whole interesting 20-year period of dynamic cultural art, right? And there were people like, Andy Warhol and Klaus Oldenburg and Dali, who came before in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and a number of others, Sarah and a whole, who, they were doing it individually. We met them and saw what they had the courage to just go and do. So we collectively came together and worked together and brought forth, an even stronger motif of that. And Soho was amazing. Between 1968 and 1980, Lower East Side was always an amazing garnish of collective cultural dynamics, because you had all these Eastern European people, and you went down Mott and Mulberry, you went into Little Italy, you kept going further down across Canal Street, you went into Chinatown, you kept going past East Broadway, and you went into Little Israel. It's a big Jewish section, and those guys were real progressives. The hidden hand has taken every liberals, progressives, all the things, and turned them into neoconservatives. What's her name, Ortez, with her Green New Deal. If you really look at it, it's fascism. And you look at Artiva. Basically, any group that says, you're a fascist, and the only truth is our truth. And sorry, that's nationalist socialist. That's fascism. And not to say that those folks don't have individuals in them that are trying to do the right thing. In every group, the Nazis had people in there trying to do the right thing, but went astray. Because no one would break from the narrative. They would just say, yes, we're right, you're wrong, kill everyone else. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight, right? And I probably will go on, I don't know, sometime between 7 and 9, right? And we'll try and have another outstanding evening chat. So that's about it. It's about 18 minutes and 27 seconds. Let's see what you guys are actually saying. Can I even see it? Good morning. Consciousness research. Hey, fish. Hey, how are you this morning? Research. I missed the chat. Was freezing my tail off in 9 room. Looking at the sculptures. Okay, well, that's nice. Sculpture's good. 1919. That's a good number. Well, there's just 2 of you. Come on, let's see some thumbs up from you guys. I have chores, and then I have errands to do. So it's now, what time is it now? It's almost 10 a.m. So I have to get on the bop. I'm here for another week at this farmhouse in the middle of, on top of the hill. It's such a, man, we had a windstorm the other day. We're right at this place where when these weather fronts move through. So there was a really nasty, snowstorm that kind of came up from the Gulf and across the Midwest and into Chicago and then across the Great Lakes and across, Ohio and Pennsylvania. And we're just over there from that, meaning we're just, as the crow flies, 200 miles from that. As the highway goes, maybe 300 miles. And we're at this place where the Appalachian dipped down and the other edge of the Appalachian's here, and then the Blue Ridge are over here. So we're in this kind of bowling alley. And we have these two big mountain entities that, both of the Appalachian and the Blue Ridge were the tallest mountains in the world. They kind of got worn down. And they kind of go from, the foundation of them go from Kentucky all the way up to Canada, through New York, through Pennsylvania. And it is a backbone of one of the major ley lines on the planet. Thanks for the thumbs up, whoever did it. And so energetically, this is a pretty amazing place. And again, this was a southern plantation, and the house I'm in was a slave quarter, town. And it's places like make out of Legos, meaning every 20 years they added on, another room here, another room there, upstairs, downstairs. And, the basement, they dug out from under what was there to begin with, which they just kind of laid on rocks, no real foundation. So the basement's very bizarre because they just kept throwing their garbage down there. And then, in the 1920s through the 60s, they just, first somebody said, we need a place to put our food and keep it cold. So they kind of dug a hole down there and did that. That was the larder. And then they, let's see, we've got to, we're going to get a boiler. So we're going to have to put it down there. And so they kind of dug some more out. So you go down there and it's like really bizarre because there's all kinds of stuff stuck in the concrete. It's kind of like when they took my teeth out of my head, the little chunks of teeth that were still left in from them pulling them out and broken bone would percolate through my gums. And, for the last 5 months, I've been having, chunks come up. And just the other day, I had the last little chunk taken out. And so the basement is like that. So there are all of these things kind of percolating up through the poor concrete that they got down there. And, and so I'm a guy of slow order, meaning so I've been, like this guy's office, right? Got paperwork everywhere, and it can't figure out anything out. So I got a box and just stacked it vertically in there, so they could like go through it all like a file cabinet. And so instead of the whole room being covered in paperwork that we lose, and I do this all the time. I'm living out of a car, so I lose things all the time. And so and I reordered everything and moved the furniture and they got little infestations, which are mostly manifestations of paranormal. Yeah, babies, come on in. Okay, so hit the above you. There's a light. You're good at seeing the dark, eh? So to go downstairs, you go through the closet and then down this really narrow staircase that's in. So this whole place is like that. So the things that are going on here are really paranormal. But there are, it's like I took all the furniture out and I took all the cushions out and found sandwiches in there. So anyway, I have a really nice mop that might be good to clean off whatever crap is on walls and stuff. Yeah. Let me go get that. Okay. Yep. I saw it was on sale, so I'm like a guy. It was like $20, and they only wanted 3 for it. So, yes, we're on the same page, right, T? Yes, exactly. Anyway, so I gotta go, and I can't just let this guy. I have to help him out. So, okay, right. Talk to you later. So tonight, right? So I want you to think about what the morning chat was, right? And I'm going to try and do that, have a morning little chat under half an hour, to set up what we're going to talk about, because I really want you guys to be part of the conversation, not to say, "Hey, how you doing?" you know, because that's how the energetics of what we do will manifest the best for all of us. So say we all. I love you guys. Have a good day. Thanks for coming. I'll talk to you later. Come on. How do we shut up? There we go. There we go.